Gemini. This is going to be a long one. I can already tell. Happy Mercury direct. I know you've been going through it, because I've been going through it. One of the many perks of having a Gemini astrologer, I am sure. Also, if you are shedding, check your magnesium levels. If you are deficient in magnesium, taking magnesium will not help. You need to take magnesium glycinate. This video will be like this all the way through. So Mercury went direct yesterday on the 15th. Jupiter has gone retrograde as of the 4th. The combination of these two means that there's one thing above all else that we must do right now, and it's not something that we're all that comfortable being. We talked about this last month, and that is being reliable. We are being asked at this time to show up whenever we say we're going to. We are being asked to volunteer our time and our effort. We are being asked to be the grounded, solid one. That's really scary. But it's a setup. It's the beginning of a very long road that we have wanted to be on for a long time. Self-discovery is not really our jam. We stay in the light for the most part. But this journey, self-discovery, the 12th house, I am a 12th house sun native. 12th house being this Piscean energy here. This journey is not one that we know much about. Even those of us who are in that 12th house energy still have not quite gotten on that road yet. And as of yesterday, we're on it. So if you already feel different, if you already feel calmer in your spirit, this is why. You know all that stuff about you that you wish you could explain to people whenever they say, why do you do this? Why are you like this? Why did you say that? And you look at them blankly and you say, I don't know. Well, it's because you don't know. Or what about when people ask you, hey, how'd you know that? And you say, honestly, I don't know. You don't know. Sometimes people think we're being evasive. Sometimes people think we're gatekeeping. It rarely occurs to them that we're so in the moment that our own thoughts are a mystery to us. People tend to think that we're full of thoughts, and that's just not true. Oh, you're such a mental energy. You are so airy. You're all in the mind. Not quite. That's Aquarius. We are so much the mutable air, the moving air, that we don't have time to think. We just know. We understand without reason. These reasons that have been closed off to us for so long, they begin to show themselves. We begin to learn about all those moments in our life where things came tumbling down and we're not sure why we did it. We know there was self-sabotage involved, but we're not sure where that tendency comes from, because we do love ourselves very much and we do care for ourselves very deeply. We like ourselves. So why does this happen? Why do we do this? It's been a mystery, probably your whole life, my whole life. And now as Jupiter is retrograde and Mercury is direct, now that Mars is in Libra and the Sun joins Libra in just a few days, now we begin to understand things about ourselves, that this journey will take years and years. But what you need to know, what's important, is that it is the beginning of a new mind. Your thinking will never be the same. Your depth increases, and so does your love and respect for yourself. So anyone around you right now who is used to taking advantage of you, who has kind of banked on your good graces, you know, taken advantage of you because they know what sort of person you are. These people, they have a little bit of a running head start if they want to get away from you. But what happens within just a few weeks of now is that you know enough already, because we're very quick learners, huh? You know enough already in the next few weeks that anyone who's been opportunistic, anyone who's taken advantage, anyone who has crossed boundaries with you that you've allowed for a very long time, they begin to stand out to you because you understand yourself so much better, and the grounding you're experiencing with that understanding is making anything out here that's not kosher really obvious. So within just a couple of weeks, you're going to start what will seem randomly, what will seem totally random, you will start cutting people off. And there is no need for explanations here. This is not like big dramatic moments. These are not big breakups. This is, I'm quietly moving away from your energy because I finally have an accurate read of my own. And now that I realize what I'm putting out, I realize that what I'm getting back from you is nowhere near enough or of the quality that I want, because I can so easily now discern the quality of what I put out. The thing about being in the now all the time is that you don't have an accurate read on yourself. It's the last thing you're worried about, actually. This time that we enter now, it really reminds me of Dead Man, which is my favorite film. But there is a moment where William Blake, the main character, he's tired, he's hungry, he's got a bullet in his heart, he's dying, and he doesn't understand anymore, and he feels, pity for himself, he feels sorry for himself, and his confusion takes over, and his guide, whose name is Nobody, says, "The quest for vision is a blessing, William Blake." And I was listening to Mufti Menk the other day, and he was talking about how the night prayer, not the 5 prayers, but the night prayer, which is called the Tahajjud, is invite only. God only wakes you up for that if he wants to talk to you. And that's what that line by Nobody has always sounded like to me, is that God, that the quest for vision is invite only. That God invites you, when it wants you to find your truth, when it wants your company, when it wants to interact with you. And so this is in many ways a sacred thing that we're doing now. Changing our mind, really just like, taking our mind out and putting in a new one. This is big stuff for us. It will be the instincts on which we run for the next however long. We need an automated system, and we know that. And so we're very careful with our own automated system. So to have to replace it with something better, something deeper, something that knows more is wonderful, but also terrifying. So when you have those moments during your self-discovery journey where it just seems too much, reliving, understanding from a different perspective means having to rehash it in ways that bring up emotions. If it seems like too much at moments, just remember that the quest for vision is a blessing. You are lucky. You are invited. And although it is not always pleasant, it is for your highest good. And for you to finally be able to move through life in a way where you have an accurate representation of who you are and what you bring. Because a lot of times the way people get in the door with us is also making us think something about the quality of our contribution, which they know that we don't have an accurate read on. So, now, Mars in Libra and the Sun in Libra. Don't create anything new right now. Just add to what you got. Whatever you're working on, continue tweaking it, continue working on it, continue making it more elegant, more simple. The simpler it is, the better it will be, no matter what it is. I hope you've noticed that, at least from the way that I am on this channel, the simpler things are, the more elegant they'll be, the more elegant something is. The simpler something is, the more elegant it is. And the only way things can be simple is if they're true. Whenever someone starts talking too much or explaining too much, they're lying, right? So whenever you have to do too much, say too much, put on too much, there is a falsity to that is off-putting. And it's, you know, if the name of the game is inspiring trust, that's not how you do it. So whatever we're working on right now, whatever you're currently already engaged in, just work on making that more streamlined, more elegant, more simple. Really focus on your feelings, on your satisfaction. What is it that gives you the most good feeling? What is it that, you know, what cups are the ones, which cups are the ones that when they're filled bring everything together for you? You know, does that mean you need to get back into a certain hobby? Does it mean you need to get into studying something new? Does it mean you need to connect with people more or reconnect with people? You know what these 10 cups are that give you this overwhelming feeling of togetherness and love and contentedness and happiness. So it's your job now to go through and figure out which cups belong on this rainbow here, and how much, and then get an accurate read of yourself. How much are you doing to fill them? What needs to change, right? So this is very much the Mars in Libra, Sun in Libra work, is taking what exists and beautifying it even more, adding that light to it, adding that life to it that it has been missing. So whatever you're experimenting with right now, sexually, if you're like trying out new kinds of partners or a new type of person, whatever you're doing, my hair is, stabs my face, which is why I move it away from my face. And then when I move it away from my face, it like does like fucks up things. So anyway, sorry. Whatever you're experimenting with, if you can make it to the winter with that thing, it can last. But if you don't make it that far, let it go. Because you don't, once you drag it into the winter with you, it can last a really long time, and that's just not what you want if it's not the person that you really want to be with. Just let it go. Just let it go. Your feelings aren't that involved yet anyway. Just let it go. That's what I did. Listen, I was very happy for a couple of weeks. Very, very happy. And then I got into a physical altercation. Well, I didn't. Someone physically assaulted me, and I was like, whoa, hey, we're not doing this anymore, right? So experiment. But the minute you sense, now, was it like a huge physical assault? No, but it was enough for me to be like, hey, yo, I'm not doing this with you. When you have that feeling, whatever you're experimenting with right now, when you get that feeling of like, hey, yo, you're done. You're done. You're done. I am telling you, you're done. I am going to be that annoying elder sibling. You're done. You're done. Let him go. So, anything that's not working from now until December, you have enough energy, enough strength to let it go. If you drag it into December, it will stick around for a while, and you just don't want that. Conversely, if there's someone that you would like to be connected to for a long time, drag them into December with you. It's very possible for this person who is not where they need to be in life and not where they want to be in life and should not be kicking it to you in the first place, is going to try to kick it to you, okay? And if you love him, her, them, it's possible that you'll drag them into December with you. It's possible. So you know what this card is? You know what this is? You know what this is? Actually, this is perfect. You know what this is? This is that trend on TikTok where we put the mustache on and we talk about like what kind of guy I would be if I was My TikTok is Archetype Revolution if you want to check out who this guy is. Yeah, this guy, you know, he's also like a liar and like tells like tall tales. But here's the thing. This person is also either coming into your life or coming back. So you have to deal with this. If you don't want this in your life, you have to get rid of it before December, and you can't let them talk you into taking them into December. But if for some reason you are sick in your head and you like this, which nobody should like that, okay? But bitch, if you do, especially if that motherfucker's a Scorpio, just, if you drag him through December, you're gonna have to deal with him for a really long time. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And it doesn't matter how much power you have, it will still really hurt. But hey, if you like it, I love it. Okay. Now, here's a big one. Can you reconcile the way you make money with your morals and your beliefs? Can you justify what you're doing to make money, to keep afloat, to keep your head above water, whatever you're doing? Can you justify what you're doing to live? Does it go with your beliefs and your morals? Because this is a big part of this introspective period that we're entering. We're not just looking at how we are. We're not just finding out the depth of, you know, why we do what we do. We're also taking a very non-biased look at ourselves from the outside and going, these things don't match. And if these things don't match, what do I need to do to resolve this? Because I can't have this discrepancy like this. I don't like this. Right? Because we don't like that sort of thing. We don't like it in other people. And when we see it in ourselves, we're like, oh, I don't like that. You know, there's a lot of things that we can let go, but this, when it's like lack of authenticity, no. Okay. So, like I've been saying this whole time, it's a time for reflection. It is not a time for action. If you feel stuck in the mud, and your mind is racing, yep, that's exactly it. Don't do anything with the thoughts that you're having. Just observe, just learn about yourself. Sometimes we do things to get away from thinking, you know? Like, people don't realize how actually physically active we are. We never sit still. And people are like, oh, it's because you're always in your mind. No, it's because we're trying to get away from our mind. We're in our body, bro. So this sitting still sucks, and it's hard, and it's just really uncomfortable. You see me, I'm always moving around. Like, I cannot sit still. Cultivating the stillness so you can really get everything out of the info that's being given to you right now. Cultivating stillness of body yoga, grounding your feet in some grass first thing in the morning, you know, drinking lots of water, cutting out the noise, all the things that create noise. I realized, I think 10, 15 years ago, that reality TV creates noise in my brain. And it was funny because I talked to a male friend of mine around the same time who said that he had gotten all the different reality show channels canceled off his cable, and his wife was freaking out. And when I asked him why he did it, he said that for some reason, whenever she watched reality TV, it made his head hurt, really, really bad. It's because it creates this chaos. It creates noise in the brain. So cultivating that stillness so you can reflect and not act decisively right now. Do not act decisively right now. Spend very carefully right now. Your health is going to start to clear up towards the end of September, early October. You find that any persistent problem that you've been having health-wise, it starts to dissipate on its own. So that's really nice. You have, I hesitate to say this, but you have a certain sense of strength and optimism right now that may seem really misplaced to yourself and to others because it's coming out of such despair. And we've been without letting anybody know, for months now, we have been in despair. So the optimism that now fills us up as of yesterday is really confusing to people, because even though we haven't come out and said it, and even though we've been pretty private about it, people know where we've been at for the most part. So it's odd for the people around us, but also for ourselves, to witness this switch of energy and, genuinely feel like, yeah, I feel great. I feel strong. I feel grounded. I feel like I can make a lot of money right now. I feel like I have a lot of energy. I feel like my mind's working very well right now. All of that is there to rebuild your family, your living space, your career, your friendships, your relationship, whatever it is. You're rebuilding with so much more knowledge than you had before, with so much more optimism and energy than you had before. And I think we don't really know what we've gone through until it's over. And so now that that period of despair has ended, even though so much of the zodiac is so many of the planets are still retrograde, we can look back on that period now and be, jovial about it. It's like when you're waiting for someone, you don't know where they are, and you don't let yourself actually panic or get upset, and then they finally call and you realize they're okay, and then you start crying. Because in that stasis, in that waiting, when you don't know what's going on, you're not even capable of having the emotions that you should be having or that you're feeling. In the same way, when we're going through really desperate moments and things are really hard for us, we have a tendency not to notice, because we're just waiting for it to be over so we can actually feel it. We don't let ourselves feel it in the moment because it's not smart. And at the core of us, we're just really, really, really smart people. And I think sometimes that is what alienates us from the world. And simply that, not that we're smarter than other people, just that we're so intensely smart and we live by our smarts. We use our mind. There are a lot of people who are very smart, but they don't apply it to the way they live. Everything about us is based on our intelligence. We move the way we move. We eat the way we eat. We look the way we look, because we have learned about these things and we know what we want to do and we know how we want to look, and we choose to use our intelligence to enhance our lives, to direct our fate, to accept things. And so we have the mind and the wherewithal to rebuild right now, to really take advantage of all this, inner knowledge that we're being given, the light that's, that Piscean light that's shining in that subconscious, and really allowing us to see why we are the way we are. In the midst of all this, to be super optimistic and still, be really happy and be able to now feel what we've just gone through and let it out. This is a huge blessing, because we didn't have to actually experience that pain while we were in it. And now that it's over, yeah, we'll go through a little, decompressing, but really we got through it and we did it very well. And I'm really proud of us, actually. And we look good doing it, And now, after this period of stasis, after these months of desperation, after the confusion, after, what feels like an eternity of being away from what or who you love, you start to make the journey back. And it's really, really satisfying. It feels good to have all this revealed to us. It's not scary. Sure, at times it's a bit, it's disconcerting. It'll shake you a little, the things you find out about yourself, but for the most part, it's just coming home. You're just coming home. All right, let's take a look at these cards. Yeah. I love you, and I'm proud of you.